This is the plaintiff, Joshua Schulman. He says he went to visit his elderly grandfather at his senior citizen's home, parked his car legally on the street, and the defendant backed into his car with his pickup truck. The shady guy's been giving him the royal runaround for months. His car's damaged, and it's time to pay the piper because he's suing for the $1,478.99 he's owed. This is the defendant, Edward Dougherty. He says the plaintiff was not parked legally. In fact, he was parked in a clearly marked no parking zone in front of his driveway. When he backed out, he heard a boom and broke the guy's taillight. He told him he'd have his mechanic fix it, but the crazy kid went out and got 3 very high estimates and is trying to milk him for all he's worth. He's accused of a backup crack-up.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff went to visit his grandfather at the senior citizen's home, and the defendant backed into his pickup. But the defendant says the plaintiff was parked illegally. It's the case of the oldest story in the book.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Joshua Schulman, you are suing Edward Dougherty for $1,478.99 for the repair of your car plus a rental while it's being repaired, because according to you, he negligently hit your car coming out of his driveway. Tell me what happened.
So on about 12:30 on Sunday, January 8th, I parked my car on Tiffany Street where Mr. Dougherty lives. If you look at the...
Yeah, come on over there and show me what the heck you're talking about.
I guess on the blue car.
Okay.
Sure. So this is Mr. Dougherty's car.
Okay.
And this is his driveway. He's parked in his driveway, kind of hanging out just a few feet with his pickup truck hanging out. And I'm parked facing the opposite direction. And when I parked the car, I got out, and Mr. Dougherty was outside working, I'm not sure, like lawn work, or he was just outside. And I saw him, and I just checked with him. I said, I didn't say Mr. Dougherty. I was like, excuse me, I'm parking right here. Is this all right? Is this too close to your car? And he was like, it's not a problem. I see you.
Okay.
So my grandfather lives in this senior development.
Okay.
And he just repeatedly has warned me to be careful with some of the senior drivers.
Okay.
I saw him outside. I just took advantage of that opportunity.
I'm sure the senior drivers are all sitting around talking about how they have to be careful with these young drivers with no experience,
I'm
right?
sorry to all the senior drivers.
Okay, so go on.
So I go inside, I visit my grandfather. Maybe an hour or so later, Mr. Dougherty knocks on the door, lets us know that he's like, it's the funniest thing. I backed into your car, even after I ran into you. And he's like, I wrote a note.
Wait, I ran into you after I ran into you.
No, he's like, I backed into your car after I spoke to you about not backing into your car.
Right.
And I was like, oh, all right. So he says, go get it fixed. I'll get it paid for, And like, I just know that like a Volkswagen taillight, is not that inexpensive. So rather than get it fixed, I got 2 estimates. Not only did the entire taillight have to be replaced, but the bumper was the bumper was a little messed up. And so was the quarter panel, which is the next piece. I have pictures and so on and so forth. Sure. The pictures, however, as I'll get along to in my story, the pictures are of the car with the remaining damage because ultimately part of it got paid for and fixed. So there's only remaining damage. So you'll see on the pictures, especially on the close-ups, how there's like the separation between the bumper and the quarter panel and how the taillight looks fine because that is a replaced taillight.
Okay, so you're talking about that gap that shouldn't be there.
Right, exactly.
Wait. This picture was taken when?
This picture was taken
after the taillight?
Yeah. Well, the point is, it's after the taillight has been replaced by Mr. Dougherty's mechanic.
It was after the taillight had been replaced?
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of damage there.
That is from the initial accident. From
him?
Yeah. When he hit it, it moved the bumper
forward.
forward.
My question to you is, that's what you're suing for here today, to get that fixed.
Yeah, the remaining.
Because it's like it's not subtle. There's some damage there.
Right.
So how did his guy? Okay, you guys talk. You get some estimates. He thinks it's high. He sends you to his mechanic.
Right. So Bill fixes the taillight, does a great job. The taillight works. We checked it, et cetera. But the bumper, he couldn't. He tried pushing it. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he tried to put it back in place, and he says he's done the best he can. And this is the remaining damage.
That's the best he can?
Yeah, that's the best he can do.
Talk to me. Tell me what happened.
I live in a retirement village. There's no room back there to park cars. There actually is a no parking zone.
Do you have any proof of that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay, what this letter says is, maybe this will help. Please be advised that the road to the back of Tiffany Lane, located in Condo 30, is designated for no parking. He's describing this happening on Tiffany Lane itself.
No.
Can you show me with an X where you say this happened? See if we are in agreement about where this happened. It's really small type. Is there a no parking sign?
Yes, there is.
Okay, do you have a picture of it?
Yeah, hold on, Bella,
Sure.
please.
Okay. There you go. It's going to try to save
Thank
you
you.
2 trips.
I appreciate it. Right in that corner, please.
Okay. Is this making sense?
Yes.
You see who's where? All right, which is Mr. Doherty's parking?
If that's him standing there to his left,
Behind him?
yeah,
that
that's
way?
his. And then the car parked to his right is almost exactly how I was parked.
Which is close to the driveway of who's this?
Just another neighbor.
Not your grandfather.
Right,
Where's your
and-
grandfather?
My grandfather lives in this building, but the residence over.
Is that your car?
That's not my car, but that's basically where my car was parked.
Okay.
And this is no parking for this street. This street you can park. This street you cannot park. If I can show you on the board.
Right. Do you have a no parking? Okay, now I want you to go back. Mr. Doherty, can I trouble you to come over here so you can confirm for me which is your house and I'm not confused? Right here? Okay, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is your house behind you there?
Yes.
Okay, this
That's
is
my
telling me
truck.
that there's no parking here.
That's no parking the whole street. There was
Well,
another
just
sign on
saying.
the other side.
Okay, you happen to have a photo of that sign, which is the one I'd like?
No,
Okay.
they didn't make it, but.
It just says that no
on-
parking this side of the street. I have no idea if this other street has no parking. That's
That's
the
the
question
same
I'm asking.
street, but on that map, it shows you where it says SP on the front. The backside is no parking. That was set up by the developer 40 years ago.
Yeah, I just need some proof of that. I hear what you're saying. It's just that when I asked you for proof, you gave me a sign that says no parking on this side of the street.
Right.
That's on a perpendicular street. That doesn't help me.
That's
I want
not
one.
a perpendicular street. That's an alleyway to all our driveways.
Is this Tiffany Road?
No, that is the driveways to Tiffany.
But these are the front of the houses. These are not
This is
the
the
backs.
back of the houses. The backs are on this alleyway. Where your thumb is in the white part, that would be Tiffany Lane, because the mailboxes are up there.
You mean this way?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and go back to there if you would, please. Is this an alleyway off of, as he's describing, Tiffany Road?
Sure, I'm not exactly sure what you named the backs of the driveways.
Yeah.
However, Your Honor,
Let me ask you this: did he have a conversation? Did you see him beforehand? Did he say to you, "Am I okay here?" And you say,
Yeah,
"It's okay."
I thought he was only going to be there 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
I didn't think he was going to be there 2 hours.
But his car didn't move. It was in the same spot. So what happened to cause the
I
accident?
just put my truck. My driveway sits on a slight hill.
Right.
I just put my truck in reverse and was saying something to the wife, and we backed, and it just rolled.
But did you forget that the guy was out there? Because you were
Yes,
just
I
talking.
did.
I know. Let's be honest about it and call it what it is. All right. So you forget that the guy's back there. So you walk into the house.
And I do, and I tell him what happened, and
Okay.
I would replace the light.
Okay. You
I
just
mean, I
didn't
had-
think it was going to be this hefty, the bill.
And
you
I
didn't
said
like that.
to my wife, excuse me, what etch is he trying to pull now?
Okay.
I says, the car was fixed. The car has been hit more than a dozen times by his own admission in a school lot that he parks in.
Well, do you have pictures of that?
My mechanic.
I only have a pic.
I didn't
Did your
see it.
mechanic
My
take pictures?
No, he didn't.
Do you have something from your mechanic?
Yes, I do.
Let me see that. Okay, William Hines, mobile mechanic, said there appeared to be a lot of parking lot dents all over the car. The one big dent on the back of the car wasn't where the lens was replaced. Didn't line up. Well, that's just false because I'm looking at the picture. I'm sorry. It lines up perfectly. I don't know why. I mean, it's literally, please look at this. It's next to the light, exactly where the light is, exactly an inch from it. It lines up perfectly. So I'm a little bit nervous when you're,
Well, this is the first time I'm seeing that picture, seeing any damage.
Take a look at that. All right. The last remaining question in my mind is whether you have any percentage of liability for being illegally parked in a situation where it looks like you were illegally parked, judging by what the village is saying and the pictures and your admission that it is the back to the houses,
Right.
that it's the alleyway. Now all this stuff makes sense that nobody's supposed to park all around there. But what bearing does that have where you alert a person and the person says, yeah, no problem, stay there? And that's what I want to ponder. Court is in recess.
All rise.
So if you back into somebody, but they're parked illegally, are you responsible or are they responsible?
If I'm driving, I'm never responsible.
If you're driving, you're never responsible? I don't have time to figure that out.
It was the person's fault that hit the car.
Even if the person is parked illegally.
Yeah, definitely the person's fault they hit the car. They saw him. They saw him, so.
So once you see him, it's your fault. We will see going inside the courtroom.
Here's how I feel about this. I've had this happen to me, where I come out of my legal garage and some clown is parked literally at my office building right here, 1 foot away from my garage door. And the police officer actually said to me, and he's now a friend of mine, but that was 20-something years ago, looked me right in the eye and said to me, well, you got to watch where you're backing out. Like, I do not have to anticipate that some clown is illegally parked right behind me. I do not. But I don't think that's a situation that we have in this case, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if someone asked me, can I park here? Is this okay for you? And I said, yeah, go ahead. You can leave your car there. I'm not coming out yet. And then I come out and I forget to look at what it is I cleared them to do, then that person sort of detrimentally relied on my permission to be there. And then it's just one of those things. But what ends up happening is that he gets an estimate, the cheaper estimate, that takes into consideration the work that was done by the mobile mechanic, but yet you come to court and you're suing for the higher estimate. Why? Just because? That's fine. Okay. We don't need to discuss it anymore. So the cheaper estimate is $987.18.
Correct.
All right. I am going to award you the $987.18. Do you have any proof of what a rental car would cost?
Unfortunately, the rates change daily. I figured that you might know better than I did. But it was about $50 for 1 day.
I actually find that to be pretty reasonable. I'm finding a judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,037.18. This would be a different case if he hadn't talked to you beforehand. I appreciate your honesty and your candor, and I wish you both good luck.
Thank you.
Just hold on right there, please, guys.
Here comes the defendant. He's making it out into the hallway here to give us what reaction to this verdict. Are you surprised?
Yes.
Yeah. What else are you?
A little disgusted.
Disgusted. Why did you think it's not your responsibility to pay?
There's no parking, and she didn't want to. The house faces the front of Tiffany. There's a parking space in front of the house.
Okay. All right, sir. Just head right around the corner there, okay? And that's the way out. And so come on in here. And satisfied how this verdict comes in?
It's nice to meet you.
You too.
Yes, I'm satisfied how this came in.
All right. Gives you permission to park there, hits your car, and then doesn't pay. How does that feel?
I feel like righteous, just.
Is there a generation gap problem in this case?
Perhaps. I mean, bodywork is really expensive. That might be a generational gap thing, but I mean, old people know how to drive cars.
All right. Harvey. All right.
So this happens so much, and it's not just illegally parked cars. It could be somebody who's traveling, at excessive speeds or whatnot. The fact is, if you have the ability to avoid an accident, even if you're in the right and the other person is doing something wrong, if you are the one that has the decision-making power to say, I can avoid it or not avoid it, and you don't avoid it, and you get in the accident, you're going to end up being responsible. That may not sound right, but actually it is right. When you can avoid it, you have a duty to do so.